Just when you thought you've seen it all. Just when you thought a WWE Chris Benoit creepypasta. This could get very dark very fast. Hello, Internet. I've recently found my childhood journal and found a creepy entry from 2007 involving one of the most controversial happenings in the history of the World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, Chris Benoit. If you don't know who Chris Benoit was, I'll try my best to sum it up for you. Chris Benoit was a former pro wrestler who had a career spanning 15 years and several title reigns to his name, including the World Heavyweight Championship, which he won at WrestleMania 20 against two legends in the business, Triple H and Shawn Michaels. However, in the summer of 2007, he was discovered dead in his Atlanta home along with his wife and youngest son, which was ruled as a double murder-suicide on the part of Benoit. It's a very grim topic. How are they going to make it like scary creepypasta? Now I feel you an introduction. My name is Mike Johnson. I'm the oldest of three, and I'm currently in college at Louisiana State University for a degree in computer science. That's the real torture right there, jeez. Now to the story. How I found this was I was visiting my family during my break, and my mom had dug out some of my old stuff, including my PS2 and GameCube, some games for each, and my old journal, much to my surprise. After spending some time going through my GameCube games like Super Mario Sunshine, finding The Hanging Luigi, I decided to read my old journal. Some things I remembered, like I got on Christmas on 2006, I used to record my gaming progress, my work in school, my family events. I also got WWE SmackDown vs. Raw in 2007 for a PS2. I easily put in 200 hours before spring. That's sad. I'm pretty sure that game's on Xbox. You kind of got owned by not having an Xbox. That's unfortunate. During this time, I recorded all the matches I had with my brothers. How my best was a hardcore match with Taz versus Kane. Who? The story more is where you pick a wrestler and you go through matches and build up storylines and rivalries and go on these win titles and headline PvPs. I fell in love with the story mode and chose Chris Benoit as my character, as he and The Undertaker were my favorites at the time. I went with wins and losses, and after lossing, as the story puts it, lossing the Royal Rumble, it's a 30-man over-the-top elimination match where the winner fights the world champion on their brand at WrestleMania, which is our Super Bowl. I got a victory over Matt Hardy to get me to fight The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. I had the feeling of guilt because I needed to win, but I didn't want to end The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania, which was 16-0 at the time. After some time, I got my pinfall victory over him and won the title. I saw afterwards that the in-game WWE magazine that both The Undertaker and I had mutual respect for one another, which was a positive for me, but I soon got into a feud with his demon half-brother Kane. Prior to my Undertaker match, I had gained an on-screen girlfriend who was Jillian Hall, who was there to see me win the World Championship. Now when the feud with Kane started, it turned out she was allied with him and had abandoned me, which cost me my first match against him. But I won the next week in a tag match with Matt Hardy and me versus Kane and Big Show. After our match, Kane and I got into a brawl in the parking lot, which I nearly won, but I botched a flying headbutt off a fire truck. Fire truck? And Kane got back up and hit his choke slam for a knockout victory. At first I was mad because I lost, but I remembered each win or loss changes how the story progresses, so I wondered how that would change the feud. Some advanced ass game. However, at this point my game had reached a point where I couldn't progress because my brothers often played the game but didn't take care of it, stopping any gameplay besides exhibition matches. So I decided to save up my money I could get, which was excruciatingly slow because at the time I was one of the few kids my age who didn't get an allowance. Oh no. But after enough work and birthday money, I got enough to get a used copy from GameStop. That couldn't have been more than $25-$30, man. Dude, how destitute is this kid? Good lord. I had taken some time off to see if I was rusty by doing exhibition matches with Chris, and after a few times I got back into the story mode. I wanted to hurry and get a match with the title because around this time, IRL, Benoit was set to face CM Punk for the ECW Championship that Sunday. So I took a break to watch ECW that Tuesday, and I challenged my brothers some that week. I didn't get back until that Sunday, and I find out that during the brawl with Kane that I had received a concussion and would be out of action for a while, so I would have to forfeit the title. That part really ticked me off because I knew most likely I wouldn't get my rematch, and after I returned I would have to fight in insane matchups to earn a title match. So I spent my next few days at an actual house, as opposed to like a fake house, which I thought was a nice touch as compared to the locker room I usually had. It still had many of the same features as the locker room, such as the workout room where you could upgrade your character and a computer to check the news. One night, there was a loud crashing sound in the house, and I saw Rey Mysterio and Lita sneaking around in my house. I approached Lita first and got into a brawl with her. The fact I could fight her didn't surprise me, as it was possibly an exhibition. But what did surprise me is that she tried to run away, but I fought her until I had to finish her and put her in the crippler crossface. Okay. However, what I noticed is normally when you can't use a submission move to win a match, such as if you're outside of the ring, you wouldn't let them go. But Chris held on and held her in the hold for nearly a minute, and I saw flashes of another woman take Lita's place in the hold for a second or two at a time before letting her go. Oh, and this is where the scary stuff starts, finally. After this, I chased after Rey, and it went much like the encounter with Lita, except when he was in the crossface, he flashed to what looked like a shorter person, which I wasn't sure if that was possible, because he was the smallest person in the game at 5'6". Okay. After I finished Rey, I heard voices from what sounded like Kane and The Undertaker saying, "The gates of hell have opened for you." I walked around the house looking for someone to progress the story. Then I returned to the knocked out Lita and Rey, and they were now people I saw flash when I put them in the crossface. Benoit fell to his knees and started bawling with his head to his hands. The voices of Kane and The Undertaker had grown louder, and I walked arounds some more and found an action prompt by the house library. Then I walked back to the people, and I now realized had been killed by Chris, and he put a book to them, which appeared to be a Bible, by the gold cross on it. I walked around until I went to the gym room, where it went to a cutscene where Chris hung himself on one of the machines. Oh my god. Then it was me in a room with fire in the background, but a bottomless pit in the middle. Kane soon appeared, and I tried to fight him, but Chris had already taken max damage, and Kane chokeslammed me into the pit. At this point, I was legit terrified, so I turned off the PlayStation and went to sleep. The next morning, my parents had left a note saying they both had to work, and I was in charge. All was fine until one of my brothers came and told me Monday Night Raw was almost on, and we were talking about who we thought had won last night at the PPV. How old are any of these kids? I've just been like, is this kid like 5? Is he 15? Who knows? My heart sank when I saw what was next. In memory of Chris Benoit. I was nearly in tears upon seeing this. Then we saw Vince McMahon, the owner of WWE, made even more odd that he had his on-screen death a week prior, in the middle of the arena saying that Raw was cancelled, and that tonight was a tribute to the life and career of Chris Benoit. However, I went from sad to enraged when the next day on ECW, Vince was once again on screen saying that the WWE would never speak of Chris Benoit due to newly found evidence that it was a murder-suicide. Why would it, so like he put him in the game? Like he game ended them and then it like went into real life? After finishing reading my old journal, and I used the internet, something I didn't have when these events occurred, and looked up if this happened to anyone else, casually playing through a murder that happens in real life, which there wasn't. However, I found that in the previous installment of SVR, there is a story where it has Eddie Guerrero, a close friend of Chris Benoit, had a feud with The Undertaker in which Eddie chokeslammed him into a casket and is closed. In the 2 days after the release of that game, Eddie was found dead in his hotel room from a heart attack at age 38. Also, if the storyline everyone else got in SVR 2007 had The Undertaker say to Chris Benoit, "Benoit, when your family mourns over your dead carcass, they will have no one to blame but you." Today I still have the game, and I still play it on occasion for fun. I play the newer installments, but they don't have the same story mode like 2007 had. Who knows, maybe it'll be added back in another installment. Maybe it'll be another wrestler's turn to say goodbye. Cameron, aka Phenom Gamer 21. Okay, so this is like a lot of topics you could choose for your spooky, scary creepypasta, and I guess this guy chose to make a real like murder-suicide of the wrestler Chris Benoit. It's like, what if it was scary creepypasta game? Which is a choice. It is certainly a choice, and that's what I'll describe it as. Very, very strange choice for a creepypasta story on the Some Ordinary Gamers wiki. Maybe next time stick to fiction.